Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoes Reborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I am joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. Go on, Pat.
You stuttered there, but it's the Full Force Weekly. We all know that.
I'm having a day. I'm having a day. Lots of tech issues today, which means I can't utilize my microphone because Zoom is being an absolute D-bag. I spent an hour just restarting and going through the process over and over again. Wasn't having it. So therefore, apologies for any, minimization in or level down in any audio. I apologize profusely. In any case, how are you doing, Pat? You doing good?
Yeah, doing just fine. Yeah, good week.
Awesome. I will give a quick update. No pain since I came back from the hospital last week regarding the kidney stone issue, which is crazy. I've had no pain. I've been on these meds, which make me feel awful. Finished those now, and still no sign of anything passing or anything. So
it only appeared at the most inconvenient moment, right?
Of course, when I was going to fly home, of course, and it didn't happen. And obviously we're in this scenario, but it's all good. Everything is, kind of steadying again. We're kind of coming back to normal. And then this technical issue happens. Yes, there's always something. But we're getting on with it. And we've got a lot of news to talk about this week, buddy. Loads happened.
Yeah, it's some good stuff this week.
Absolutely. Right, well, let's get stuck in then to the first news item of the week, and it's in Super 7 news. Super 7 dropped 2 more G.I. Joe reaction figures for the Target Fall Geek Out last weekend. The final day of the online event promised to show big reveals from the major toy companies, and Super 7 had already teased one of the figures a few days prior. We could all guess that a lighter blue Cobra Commander was on his way, and joining the bad guys' head honcho was none other than a comic version of Snake Eyes. Cobra Commander dons a vac metal faceplate, and Snake Eyes is modelled after his appearance in issue 21 of the Marvel Comics. Cobra Commander comes with a pistol, and Snake Eyes gets his sword and Uzi. The card back for Cobra Commander looks to be the standard version with cross-sell and file card, and Snake Eyes gets a special comic cover card back with panel art from the comic on the reverse of the card. Both figures are $17.99 and went up for pre-order at 9 AM Eastern on the 2nd. Links in the description just in case, but knowing Target online, don't be surprised if they sell out fast. In actual fact, I think they're still available. In addition to these new Super 7 reveals, Classified Breaker and the Ram also went back up for the event, but sold out rapidly. Pat, did you end up getting in on these two at all?
I did. I've been buying the Super 7 stuff so far. I have a feeling that it's just going to blow up to proportions where for a 5 POA line, maybe I won't be a completist, but it's at a size right now where I still haven't decided about that.
I agree.
What I'm having trouble deciding really is whether or not I'm going to open them, because that Snake Eyes in the package is such a nice nod to issue number 21 that I'm really curious to know how many people are going to be opening these and how many people are going to be just keeping them as is, because I don't think I want to buy 2 of them. I don't think I want to do that, but I can't decide. What do I open or do I leave sealed? How about yourself?
I'm probably going to leave them sealed. I do anyway, for the most part, unless I get a second version of or a second copy of anything. I usually keep everything within its package. It's almost like that first one I get is always just going to be sitting there, just looking at it through the plastic. Like I said, until I get that second version of it. With Classified, I've been getting 2 of everything, not to keep anything sealed necessarily, but just because I want, I want figures for customization. I want figures just in case. I don't like, that I always that worry for some reason that they're going to be scarce. So I need 2 of everything, especially with the army builders. I need 4 as the minimum. Anything more than that is great. So that's what I've been kind of going for recently with Classified. In terms of reaction, though, I think they look gorgeous on the card. There's different card art as well, which again is like a bonus for me, because I think if they would continue to utilize the Hasbro Hector Garrido and another artist kind of card back artwork, then I think you know, that would get really tired really quickly. So I'm glad that Super 7 are doing that kind of different kind of thing. And I saw someone complain about the fact that Snake Eyes doesn't have a file card, but it's another Snake Eyes figure. There is another Snake Eyes figure in the line that does have a file card. So, you're not missing out on anything here. And I think what they're doing with the comic art is really, really fun.
Yeah, I do as well. And Super 7 has released in their other figures a lot of really different packages, like, tickets that they would put the figures on, and just completely other cardboard shapes entirely. So, and even some of them where you get two packages and they look cool right next to each other. So I could tell that they're thinking that people are keeping these carded. I don't know. I'm really going to have a tough debate. I'm probably going to leave that one packaged for quite some time, even if I open the rest. Or maybe I could just open them carefully. That seems like it's not
still open it.
It's still open, yeah.
I will go back to our conversation that we had last week where we were umming and erring on what figures they were going to do. We knew they were going to be repaints, or we had a strong inclination that it was going to be a repaint of some description. I'm kind of glad with the way they went with it. It's an interesting way to go. I wasn't expecting the comic cover Snake Eyes to be done. But we both kind of thought that obviously with Cobra Commander coming, again, I didn't think it was going to have a vac metal face. That was a nice little bonus. And on top of we were saying like, glow in the dark radioactive Snake Eyes would be cool. So we got the character right. We just didn't get the paint application right. I still think we're going to get that radioactive Snake Eyes at some point. It seems like a no-brainer to me.
I agree. I could imagine that coming in a package that would be somehow oddly shaped, like maybe the container of radioactive material that he carried. Maybe it would come on a card shaped like that, or who knows? They could do a lot of different things, but I think that for sure we will get that one glowing eventually.
I will add one more thing while we're talking about Super 7, while we're talking about reaction, not necessarily Ultimates at the moment, because obviously we'll save the Ultimates talk for when we get more Ultimates kind of, information. But in terms of like reaction, I think it's a really good place, especially where they're dealing with the animation, to get some sort of amazing movie-based set or movie-based theme, movie-based wave, because there's a lot of characters in that film that aren't necessarily in the core, and also that would be great for I think would be perfect for Super 7's reaction line, and would be something that I would jump on, especially if you got things like Pythona, Globulus, Nemesis Enforcer, all Cobra, like, Royal Guard. Sorry, Adam, I didn't want to miss Adam's favorite out there. And then like, Falcon, Jinx, Sergeant Slaughter, all these kind of characters I think could be done within this Super 7 reaction line. And I think the movie is somewhere that they could really do big things.
See, if you're going to do the movie, I think the figure that I would want the most would be the Cobra Law. I don't know what they're called. Those Cobra Law guys.
Person.
Kind of in the background.
Yeah, like the citizen. Thank you. Yeah, the citizens of Cobra Law. Yeah, 100%. There was another one I wanted that from the film that I was getting at and never got to that point, and it's completely lost me. Oh yes, this Cobra Commander was once a man. How good would that figure be in the reaction line?
Yeah, they could do a couple of versions of it, actually. You could have one where, actually I'm thinking of three. One where he has first started to change, where he has most of his Cobra Commander outfit on.
Like a couple of eyes.
Yeah. Another one where he comes with Roadblock, and he's coiled up so Roadblock can hold him.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if they made that would sell really well, because you could take it out and put it on a vintage Roadblock.
100%.
And I also would want the scientist, the pre-accident scientist they show in the flashback.
Very similar vein to the citizens of Cobra Commander there. Yeah, totally. And again, like there's so many characters you could do from that show for the reaction. Like, if they were to do like a movie wave, which I just think it seems like such a no-brainer to me. And I'm almost looking forward to some sort of big SDCC or whatever it would be, like some sort of like big kind of convention reveal where they did like a set of movie homaged figures, and Falcon, Jinx, all those kind of characters would be brilliant. Like the rawhides as well. Like how good would this set of the rawhides and beachhead be,
Big Lob for sure would be a popular one, for sure.
And a gigantic Order. Because obviously when Law and Order are doing the bomb scene, he's huge in that scene. I'd love that. I would absolutely love that. And maybe like if they brought out a tomahawk and you could put Chuckles on top of it, riding a tomahawk between the blades. What a nut bar.
Well, he could come with just a big missile that he could carry.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But anyway, massively excited. Like, I think what's funny is that reaction to me isn't even the big line that Super 7 have. Like, it's like almost like a bonus thing for me. Like, I don't look at it as like something I want to collect. It's more from out of habit a lot of the time. But I do like the fact that they can go quirky and they can go kind of fun in the reaction line. Obviously, the Ultimates is brilliant, and I'm always going to. That's on my radar, and I want it, and I'm having it, and I'm getting it, no matter what the situation. But reaction, I like the fact that they can go into these quirky zones to make it more appealing.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder if Super 7 has one of the Jim Sorensen books handy with all of the character models from the cartoon, because that would be really nice if they just kind of used that as a checklist of oddball characters that appeared that they could explore.
Great book, that as well. A great book. Got that signed at Rollout Roll Call nice. From Jim, and brilliant. Right, okay. One last thing I will mention though is the price. $17.99 a figure. I think it is just it's almost like to the point where I think if it was like more like $15, I would be way more comfortable. If it was like $14.99, it's still quite a lot for the figure, but I would probably be more comfortable with that. I do think it's at the higher end of what these figures should be, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. I mean, for a 5-point of articulation figure, yes, but I think that they're being done on such a low run compared to things that would be on the peg. Like, you have the Hasbro Marvel figures that are at $10 at Target. And then you go over to the collector section, and these are much more. I think that that's because of the size of the runs, most definitely. You look at the reaction line, there's a lot of obscure stuff. There's no way they're making those in the same numbers that they're making Iron Man and Spider-Man. Yeah,
no, you're right. I understand the mechanics. I think like from a consumer point of view, it is one of those things where you're kind of like, I think they could get away with $15 here, but they've obviously run the numbers. The other thing I will say, I don't look at Super 7 as a company that are like ripping people off. I've never thought that at all. Right. Brian seems like a really nice guy. It seems like a very nice company, a very solid company, still quite a small company in relation to some of the bigger names. But I definitely think like in terms of the price, I know why there's a lot of pushback from the community in that sense. Personally, I'm still buying them though. That's the other thing. It's like it was an immediate thing as soon as they popped up.
Yeah, me too. I think that if they were a lower price, I'd have less trouble deciding on whether or not to open one. There'd be those ones that, like this Snake Eyes, I would definitely just want to get both. Get two right from the beginning. But I'll support it where I can and maybe pick up a couple of extras if they should go cheap. I did end up picking up, I didn't intend on picking up the Transformers ones, but I got Bumblebee, and he was at Target, paid like $3 or something like that, $4 for him. So sometimes they do go cheap, and picking up those ones that kind of slip through the cracks and go clearance makes you almost want to pick up a few more. So I think I have a Bumblebee and an Optimus Prime. As a matter of fact, there's a second Bumblebee around here somewhere, because at that price, I did pick up one to keep carded because the card was very nice as well.
I've been liking the artwork and everything. It's really nice. Anyway, that's Super 7 in terms of reaction, especially. And I do want to talk about Ultimates again at some point, but now is not the time. Let's move on to Hasbro Careers news. Yes, Hasbro have posted a job listing on their careers page for a franchise strategy co-op or intern for the G.I. Joe brand. Effectively, you'll be working on a number of the action brands at Hasbro, including G.I. Joe, in a number of capacities, which actually sounds quite interesting. The opportunity is based in Burbank, California, but you might be able to work remotely. And if you're interested, then check out the listing in the description below. It's always good seeing new jobs appearing for the Joe brand, as it often signifies a push towards the property, and they are clearly aiming for the line to be successful in the long term. I'm really excited for what's to come, and good luck to any of you out there vying for this particular job. Pat, you up for this one?
Oh, of course. I'll just move to California tomorrow. I don't have a gigantic collection to move there or anything. So
yeah, all those reaction figures you just bought. Blimey.
Right.
All those doubles. You got 700 Bumblebee figures to take with you. I mean, a lot of people actually, funny enough, I got a lot of messages, strangely, saying you'd be perfect for this, you'd be great for this. The problem is I had to kind of like consider some factors. One, I don't think it's necessary. It's an internship in effect, isn't it? So I don't think there'd be necessarily any money necessarily being made here. So that's one kind of factor you got to kind of take into consideration. The other one was say goodbye to the Full Force podcast if I got that job. Couldn't do the Full Force podcast through, what do you call it? What do they call it in law, Pat? Conflict of interest.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And also, I wouldn't be able to talk about topics with worry or fear that I'd be giving away trade secrets. Not that I care. Not that I care at the moment while we do the Full Force podcast. But obviously, if it came to being employed by Hasbro, then yeah. And obviously, I haven't, there's applying for it and all that, and having other applicants way more qualified than I would be as well to kind of consider. So in the end, I didn't bother going for it. But I just, I thought a few people had mentioned it, and I was like, it would be kind of fun, but I don't know. There was so many cons in lieu of the pros. I mean, yeah.
I think that they're probably, whenever they have these positions that are internships, quite often they're looking for somebody who they may want to put in a permanent position. So I would think that if it's an internship in California, you most definitely would have to move to California rather than them going, well, we just kind of needed somebody, so we're fine with you staying where you are. Yeah. I think that they probably would be looking for somebody for future possibilities, for future potential with this.
Agreed.
This isn't just a tiny internship, it's a G.I. Joe specific one. So I would think that they're probably looking to test the waters a bit.
Definitely. And when you think about the amount of product we've got coming next year that's been, leaked, it's astonishing. So this line is definitely, it's growing, it's building even now, and I think it's going to be successful for quite some, a number of years to come at least. And also when you've got Brian Flynn as Super 7, coming back to Super 7, saying they've got a 10-year plan for this kind of stuff, you're like, well, okay, I'm happy to hear that. Okay, well, that is obviously, careers news. Link in the description if you guys are interested in applying. We don't know if it's going to be like a definite way you have to move to California, but it's very likely that is the case. Who knows? Apply and find out. You can always turn it down.
Yeah.
Anyway, in Cubels news, yes, Pat, in Cubels news, in amazing new paper stock G.I. Joe brand news. G.I. Joe Cubels are here, and they are adorably awesome. Earlier in the week, we reported that papercraft company Cubels had acquired the license to produce official G.I. Joe branded paperboard figures just in time for the holiday season. We also incorrectly reported on the price point, which prompted Cubels CSO Mike Horn to contact us directly, and that turned into a full-blown interview, which we posted a few days ago, just as the reveals for the product were shown off. Wave 1 consists of Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Scarlet, and the Baroness. Each figure is $7.99, with an option to buy the entire 4-figure set for $24.99 via the Cubels website and Amazon. Cubels have made all sorts of characters and sets with varying degrees of complexity, ranging from the simple cubes to more intricate builds, but these Joes are, to me, the coolest yet, with updated body construction, articulated parts, and removable accessories. It's all self-contained, and the packaging even converts into a a comic diorama background developed with the help of Josh Blaylock, with individual scenes for each character that all connect together to create an awesome backdrop to display them. I love the fact that they're environmentally friendly and promote STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Thanks to Mike for letting us see the product early and for the awesome interview. Pat, does this float your boat?
I think it's a cool thing. I think that whenever I was younger, I would have really been into this because it's not as much of a buy it, open it, and play with it as it is also a construction like activity toy.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just buying these cubic action figures. It's definitely the act of putting it together that is going to be most of the fun. And I think I probably would have at that point wanted to start creating some of my own characters and things like that. So yeah, I think that this is good. It's another step into making G.I. Joe somewhat ubiquitous again.
Yeah.
So putting it out there, and this is not an avenue I would have thought, oh, G.I. Joe needs to start making papercraft items.
Exactly, yeah.
I wouldn't have thought about that. So I'm not going to be buying them for myself, but I do think that it's a positive thing.
100% agree with that. I did actually jump in on a set myself. For one thing, like I must say, yeah, when I first heard this was coming out and we heard the information, but we didn't have any kind of view on what the actual product looked like, I was definitely of the mindset of this is really cool, and I'm look, you know, it'd be nice to, you know, for kids to kind of, you know, jump on this kind of stuff, but probably not for me. When I saw the figures, though, I was like, oh my God, they're so cool. So I ended up, like falling in on this one. And obviously 4 figures as well, you know, per wave. They've got another 4 coming, which is what Mike kind of revealed on the interview a couple of days ago. And also the other thing he mentioned, even though they hadn't thought about, or they hadn't discussed this yet, which I'm not 100% sure about. I think they may have done. But I mentioned on the news burst for this that it sounded like they might be doing vehicles and other bigger sets. We discussed it on the show, and he said actually he went back to the partners and discussed that after hearing about it on the news burst. He said, let's do vehicles. So it looks like, you know, if this is good, you know, if the first wave does well, and then obviously the second wave does really well, it looks like we could be seeing, you know, some more cool stuff coming out, including big play sets, big vehicles. And he even mentioned that they're opening a big like HQ style storefront in Chicago, where he said, how cool would it be that, you know, that would be the setting where they'd had these big diorama displays. And I'm just thinking, damn, man, if they did something like that, I would have to go. I'd have to set a trip and go and see that, because I think that would be really fun to kind of, you know, experience firsthand.
Yeah, that does sound interesting. How tall did you say that the figures are whenever they're built?
5 inches. So the figures are 5 inches tall, and then obviously any vehicles. I doubt they'd be. I'm not sure if they'd be interacting with them or not, but you know, it'd be.
That's what I was kind of getting at.
I figured they, you know, if they did them big enough, because he showed me a couple of Cubels, which were like that big. One was like about that big on screen. It was like a unicorn type build, really complex and massive. They've done a 4 foot. They've done a 4 foot big one as well, Cubel. So it's not it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we could be seeing big vehicles for G.I. Joe, and I think that would be super fun.
Yeah, especially the idea of Blaylock working on a backdrop that was a package. You know, you could have some really crazy dios coming out of this. I mean, dioramas that are made of cardboard is something that has been explored. I know there's a website years ago that was doing unofficial ones that you could download and print.
Yeah.
And there have been various companies that have made like pop-out ones. So ones that would be specifically G.I. Joe, those actually could be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Especially if they work with a familiar size. And at 5 inches, maybe they could make some headquarters or GI or a Cobra. How cool would a Cobra Castle be?
100%.
That would be really cool.
That would be right up their alley as well in terms of, you know, what you could print on the card, you know, like getting the textures of the brickwork and all that kind of stuff. It would be so good. Yeah. I think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that's Cubels news. And again, I'm really psyched for that. Even, you know, of all the things to be psyched about, I'm psyched about the papercraft stuff. And I say papercraft, but it's actually some pretty hardcore, they call it Cubel stock. And it's almost like, you know, real hardened cards. So I think Very, very cool stuff. Really looking forward to that. Links in the description if you want to pre-order as well, guys. And of course, moving on and into Flame Toys news. Yes, Flame Toys dropped pre-orders for their Furai, Storm Shadow and Arashikage Cycle model kits through their official eShop, d4toys.com, on Wednesday. The figure and vehicle are sold separately for $45 each, and just like the Snake Eyes releases, are around the 5-inch scale. They will ship in March of next year, but be wary when pre-ordering from the site, as shipping is extortionate. For both the figure and vehicle, it would have cost me $71.50 for shipping alone. For those of us outside Asia, it's probably a good idea to wait until they are distributed through Bandai and stores elsewhere. We know for a fact that Snake Eyes will be in Target, so expect to see these further down the line as well. The product looks outstanding, however, and I absolutely love the style and execution on both the figure and vehicle model kits. I will almost certainly be looking out for these kits when they hit US shores eventually, as I've been super impressed with the designs, articulation and accessories for both figures and bikes so far. Flame Toys posted a ton of product images, which you can check out on both Flame Toys and our own Facebook pages. Links in the description. We also have links to the pre-orders, but as I said, if you're outside Asia, you may want to hold fire for now, based on those very high shipping costs. Pat, do you like what Flame Toys have shown so far?
I do. I'm curious still to see how a classified figure looks on the bike.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah, if it looks good, it's kind of nice to have a buildable vehicle toy line. I would like something a little bit larger, I think, but to have something where you can actually build it like an old G.I. Joe vehicle is pretty cool. And the figures almost feel like they're an introductory level to customizing as well, because you can have your, again, it's kind of like an activity item, building it, but you can almost test your skill level, because I think we talked before about how I watched a video of somebody putting together an Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
There is a bit of decision making while you're making it, because some stuff you get as a sticker that you may actually want to paint. So yeah, I'm curious to see how these look in hand and how they look next to classified.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say as well that the Ore Striker they revealed, that amazing ninja, that I think a lot of people have. You know, if it is indeed a good size for classified, that opens so many doors. If the motorcycles work well with classified figures, then I'm on board. I'm buying all of that. I'm like immediately, because it's like, you know, and even then I'm going to get it when it comes to these, you know, when we can get it distributed through Bandai. I will be really excited to kind of jump on it, because at the moment that shipping, I know there's nothing they can do about it. That's just it is how it is. They're not literally, they're making it available and they're saying this is how you can get it if you want it now. But, you know, right now is probably not a good time for us to be kind of jumping on it, because I mean, that is, you're paying more than what it costs to actually get the product. So yeah, best to hold off on that one if you're outside Asia. And don't worry though, we know that Snake Eyes is definitely in the Target system. I imagine the bike will follow suit, and I imagine Storm Shadow and the bike will also kind of make it too. So yeah, just to be patient on that one. I think they look gorgeous though. Oh my God. The designs of both figures are next level. I think they're gorgeous looking.
They're definitely interesting. I could see there being an argument that maybe it would cannibalize the classified line, but I really don't think so. It's a different style. And again, especially because of the vehicles, we're not going to get a ton of vehicles in classified. It's just not possible. So if there's this other channel that can potentially put some more things out, I don't see it as a bad thing.
We're gonna
have to buy all of it.
The classified line is going to have all these random vehicles behind it. It's going to have a massive 4x4 remote control vehicle they can't get in. They'll have a slightly smaller Ore Striker they can't actually fit inside, and loads of tiny motorcycles that when they get on them, they look like those little clowns on bike, like Homer Simpson on his tiny bike. But yeah, I do hope for vehicles in the classified line, even small ones. Give us a ton of small vehicles. I'm happy with it. Honestly, just give us some things for them to kind of, hang out on, stand on, sit on, operate. And there's and that's the thing with G.I. Joe. Talk about the amount of vast character options. The friggin' vehicle options are ridiculous. Small, mid-size, all the stuff they could do for classified. There are hundreds of options.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of different things out there for G.I. Joe. Helicopter packs, just tons of stuff.
Trouble bubbles, ferrets,
motorized vehicle accessories.
Hell yeah, baby.
Now there was a small motorcycle that you had to sit on. Oh yeah.
The big axe.
Axe.
I've told this story multiple times, but I had the option to get Ripper, who I never saw ever. Like, that's the only time I ever saw him in the store, or the motorized battle axe. And for some reason, to this day, I chose the battle axe. And I don't know why, because I never got Ripper ever in the vintage line as a kid. Never saw him again, and that stuck with me for life. So think on. Anyway, enough of that. And let's move into the next news item, which is the dangerously breakable glassware news. Last year, Virginia-based brewing company Adroit Theory revealed a number of G.I. Joe-inspired craft beers, as well as a set of character art glassware. The 16-ounce glasses featured 6 Cobras: Serpentor, Cobra Commander, Destro, Baroness, Zartan, and Storm Shadow, and one single Joe, Snake Eyes. Well, they are not only re-releasing the 7-character set as larger 20-ounce glasses, but they are also adding to the roster with 5 more characters: Major Blood, Dr. Mindbender, Tomax and Zaymot, who are together, obviously, Firefly, and a mysterious secret character as yet unrevealed. They haven't shared any images of the new artwork for these glasses yet, but I'm sure it will make for a really solid visual with them all lined up together. Now, these 5 new glasses will only be available in the 20-ounce size and won't be re-released as 16-ounce glasses to match the first collection, just so you know. As a side note, if you only want the new glasses and not the entire 20-ounce size set of 12, then you can email Adroit Theory through their website and they will accommodate you on an individual basis. Adroit Theory are also releasing all 12 beers in this series, as well as posters of all 12 designs, and they are offering a $20 gift card on purchases over $125. The full set of 12 glasses will set you back $219, but I will say that I bought a set of the original glasses and was really happy with the quality. We use them all the time, and I can't recommend them enough. If any of you guys are interested, then check out the links in the description below for their new pre-orders, which are all made to order. No idea yet as to when the pre-order will end, but they don't stay up very long, so if you do want any of these, then make sure you strike while the iron blood is hot. They are looking at a shipping date of December the 15th, but of course, with what is going on globally, they can't really be that accurate. Don't be surprised if it gets pushed to 2022. Pat, what do you think of these?
They're cool. Again, it's not something that I'll be picking up. I have very limited cabinet space in my kitchen as it is.
We do now.
And I'm terrible with glasses and taking care of them. So I don't want to buy something that I'm not going to take care of.
I will say as well, all of those things, relate to me too. Very little cabinet space. They're all kind of in there, like, crushed in there. I'm also terribly clumsy with anything. So, I have to be super, whenever I wash them, I'm super careful. Whenever I dry them, whenever I drink out of them, like, I'm constantly being super careful. I don't put them in the dishwasher. So yeah, it's all, these are all things I have to really take into consideration when using them, but they are great. And there's been a few times when I've dinged them on the sides of things and everything's fine, no cracks, nothing. And they're just, and the actual artwork I was really impressed with the quality. I was expecting almost like, a sticker on it, just like slapped on, but they're really well done, really like very carefully made and very beautifully made, and yeah, really, really cool. And the artwork's super nice. Like, it's really cool, really like some original artwork on there, really gorgeous stuff. And yeah, really into these. So I can't wait to see what those 5 new characters look like.
Yeah, they must have sold well enough that it made it worth kind of revisiting the project. And I'm curious why they chose to go with a larger size. Maybe that was some feedback that they'd gotten.
And that's, it's interesting to say. I mean, when I dry them, I can't get my hand inside because they're quite, they're a smaller size. But I've never been concerned about you know, the size of them. I've never thought like, oh, this needs to be 6 times bigger. This needs to be a bucket. Like, I just thought this is fine. It's a glass, you know, and it's a tall glass, and I thought they were great. As a 20 ouncer, what am I going to? I've got no cabinet space to fit these.
Well, maybe they can fit over the 16 ounces.
Slide them inside. Yeah, there we go. Sorted. Thank you, Pat. Always with the mind of a combiner going on right there. I mean, that's glassware. Looking forward to getting. I have emailed. I want those 5. I want to kind of complete the, you know, the character set. Not necessarily I'm not getting all 20. I'm not getting all 12 and getting the same ones I have, because I'm not that bad, am I, Pat? I'm not that bad.
You're going to get all of them.
I'm getting all of them. What an idiot. What a stupid thing to say. Anyway, links in the description if you want to jump on. Moving on. Diamond Select Toys revealed Wave 2 of their G.I. Joe Minimates at their New York Comic Con booth a couple of days ago. The new lineup includes, as we suspected, Roadblock, Duke, the Baroness, and Destro. They look really cool, and it would appear as though they will be released as a 4-pack in much the same way as Wave 1 if the info card in front of the figures was anything to go by. It also told us they would be $24.99 when released, but we don't officially know when that will be just yet. More news will likely come out of the convention, and I'm sure they will be available via all the major retailers like BBTS, just like last time. I must say I'm really into these Joe Minimates and can't wait to get Wave 1 when it comes in soon. It will also be interesting to see if they get a different piece of artwork on the box to accompany Wave 1 and to show off Baroness and Destro and Storm Shadow, who didn't appear on that previous artwork. It's also worth saying that friend of the show and patron Paige Wagner posted an image of the DST booth at NYCC showing a piece of vintage gung-ho artwork poking around a corner, which made me wonder if we would see the Joe's resident Marine in either Minimate or Gallery Diorama statue fashion. Gentle Giant actually responded to Paige's post to say it's just a promotional poster they use for the license, but I must say he would make for a cool Dio statue for sure. Pat, first off, let's start with Minimates. Are you surprised at all with that Wave 2 lineup?
No, isn't that what we kind of called?
We called it! We said Duke and Roadblock because they're on the artwork, and we said Destro and the Baroness because it makes sense, and we were completely 100% right. How'd you feel?
Awesome. Yeah, I can retire.
You can get that job as the intern for the G.I. Joe brand now because you know how it works.
That's
you know
right.
how this stuff works.
I can identify characters and posters.
Especially tiny characters in Minimate form that you just knew were going to happen. Okay, here's the next test then. We know obviously what Wave 2 is going to be. We don't need to talk about all the other stuff. What do you reckon Wave 3 is going to look like? Give me your 4 characters next up.
We don't have a Firefly yet, right?
Good shout. He does seem to be. Him and Zartan seem to be like and Blood. I've just given you 3 there, haven't I? That you probably wanted to use for yourself.
Yeah, but we're going to have 2 Cobras and 2 Joes.
Correct.
So we have to be kind of careful. I don't think it's going to be Zartan. I'm going to say Major Blood and Firefly as the Cobras.
Okay.
Because Zartan, they could kind of hold off. Minimates has done vehicles before. I'm not saying they would. You never know. A Chameleon could make sense, or a special Zartan.
Swamp Fire.
Yeah, Swamp Fire.
I'm sorry, that was way out there. Motorcycle would be more likely, but I think you're right. I think Zartan would be good as a deluxe, totally. Yeah.
Or even in like a Dreadnoks 4-pack with Torch Ripper, Buzzer, and Zartan. You do that.
Yeah. Again,
so, I don't know. I would just think hold off on Zartan. And for the Joes, Flint and Lady J.
Good shout. You've got a female in there. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense to throw Lady J in at that point. And also, I think Flint is a very good foil for Lady J as well. And obviously, definitely within it's weird with Flint. I wouldn't call him main core character, but he is. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like his era, he was the core. So like So you can argue he wasn't the original core, but he's definitely a core character phase 2, if that makes sense. Would you agree with that?
Because in my brain's still in 1982 and there was no Duke.
Okay, so you're saying Hawk would have been the core character in phase 1.
I'm not so sure that they're. Well, I guess maybe, yeah, as far as the commander goes, but he only showed up sometimes. Like to me, the main 3 from 1982, excluding one I played with the most, which was Flash, You've got Scarlet, Stalker, and Snake Eyes.
Yep, there you
Those
three.
were like the three from 1982 that were like the core cast. And then Duke shows up and Roadblock shows up, and in the comic book together, you just start seeing less and less of some of those 82 characters.
If we were to say now, putting all the past into context, and at this stage now, you'd probably have to say Flint and Jay are core characters. But you very rarely see them come in first in any wave assortment of toys from other licensees, do you? You never really see, you do see Flint and Jay, but you don't see them first. It's always Scarlet, Snake Eyes, Duke, Roadblock now, isn't it? They're your four main Joes. And then obviously Cobra Commander, Destro, Baroness, and Storm Shadow are the Cobras.
Yeah. When was the world introduced to Lady J and Flint? It was definitely
85?
No, I was going to say Revenge of Cobra, just as far as the characters go. So they came along a little bit later as far as toys go, but as far as introduction in the cartoon, were they 1984?
Mate, I would say in the cartoon, they are 100% core characters based on the fact that when they were brought in, they very rarely left after that. Do you know what I mean? It was like, came in early. Yeah, that's true. Came in early and dominated. Like Flint was such a popular character. And especially in the UK as well. I mean, I see Flint as a core character, but it's like a different viewpoint, different perspective. But yeah, like I definitely agree with you. I think that's a great lineup for the Minimates. I think Flint and Jay, it makes perfect sense because it's almost like Scarlet and Snake Eyes or Scarlet and Duke. They go together really well as a team. So Flint and Jay make sense, and then obviously Major Blood and Firefly it's a good shout. It's a really good shout for a 4-pack. Personally, I think they would go with, and I'm still saying Zartan because I think they just re-release him. Zartan and Firefly, they would be the two Cobras, and Gung Ho, because I think he's almost turned into like he is arguably B-list, but he's still one that always kind of comes next. And obviously we've seen an artwork of him in the booth, so I'm thinking Gung Ho in that sense. And in terms of the other character, I'm stumped because without that Flint J parallel, I don't know who else they'd kind of throw in. So I'm going to say Gung Ho. It's a 3-pack. Not a clue. So I think you're probably better. I think you're better equipped in this chat. I think that 4 makes a lot of sense from your point of view, from your perspective.
I think that between us, like Zartan's pretty debatable. So between us, I think that we have it down.
Yeah, I think we've covered all the main characters that could appear in that next 4-pack. But bring them up, keep them coming. Change the artwork, though. I would say don't give us the same artwork, even though it does cover Duke and Roadblock. I want to see more artwork on the box, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. Especially if they go into further waves. And I don't really expect them to always stick to the format of 4. We'll see what they would do if they release more Troopers. So
Troopers, there's a one for you. It could even be a Cobra Trooper in that next 4-pack, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And maybe even a green shirt. You could see a Cobra Trooper, a green shirt, a Joe, and a major
maybe a Cobra Officer would be appropriate. That way, if they release the Cobra Trooper in some sort of 2-pack, it would be easier to get the Trooper.
Totally. Yeah, cool, man. All right, well, you forget about some of the army builders sometimes because it was only on the Cobra's side. Anyway, okay. Well, that's Minimates chat, which I always enjoy when we get Minimates stuff on here because I'd say it's a line that I know a lot of people say, great in 2002. Yeah, but just because it's come from just because it's been out for a long time doesn't mean it's crap. I actually really like the Minimates. I think they're really cute, and especially the figures we've seen so far look fantastic. So keep them coming. I'm all over that. And I love tiny collectibles. I've always have done. Keep them coming. Right, next up. And in a little bit of recent classified news, So this morning, we received a number of awesome Hasbro product images for the upcoming PulseCon exclusive G.I. Joe Classified Deluxe Master of Disguise Zartan, and they look fantastic. I know we've all known about this figure for ages now. We've seen plenty of images of him. A lot of people have him in hand still as well, amazing. And all of the accessories, but it's great to actually finally see official product images come out that really highlight all the cool heads, masks, weapons, amazing color skin change effect, accessories, etc. PulseCon is only a few weeks away now, and of course we will be there watching along as well as dropping a reaction video shortly after the event. Pat, these pictures look great, don't they?
They do. I really wonder how they achieved the Zartan effect. You know, is that a Photoshop? It doesn't look like it. So unless they just did a very good job, which I'm sure they can, of Photoshop, then they must have had something really cold there to just blow on Zartan.
There's a blue balls joke in there, isn't there? Right. What I will say here, though, is that Lenny has said that I think on the when he discussed this particular figure, he said on our interview with him. So if you want to go back and check this, brilliant interview, and he does discuss Zartan in and gives away quite a few cool details way before we're getting official product photography. He said if you had like a cooler on hand, you could just leave him in there, and then when you wanted to take your pictures, out he comes, boom, and it's good for a decent amount of time. So I think they just had a cooler at hand, and I think that is a great thing for toy photographers that they're going to be utilizing that, I think, going forward, aren't they? A lot of toy photographers, they're going to have that cooler with a couple of beers in there, but then also your Zartan.
Yeah, that's nice that it gives that deep of a reaction if it's just a cooler, because I know some other toys, even the Shadow Ninjas, you really need to get the full effect. You really need to put them in the freezer. Yeah,
I think they've done a lot. They've come a long way in the technology here, and I think it's a great compromise. It's a great way of doing it. I know it's not activated by the sun, but as Lenny mentioned, so many factors that come into that just not being a practical way of doing it. For a figure, for a deluxe figure of the price of a classified deluxe figure, you don't want something that's going to run out of actual effect after a period of time. You don't want something that's going to maybe cause some issues in terms of longevity in the plastic degradation.
Breakage could be an issue with that too, because even the original Zartan, you'll note, was sonic welded together because of the potential of it snapping. I think there was a higher likelihood of it breaking because of that additive to plastic. So with all the joints that we have with a classified figure, it's fine that the color change works a different way.
Not to mention the cost incurred in the manufacturing process. I know we look at it and think, well, Hasbro should just be able to cover it. But I say we, as a fandom, we look at it and think, well, Hasbro got loads of money. They should be able to do that. They still have to operate as a business, and they still have to take a lot of this into consideration. There is a budget. It's not just all the money doesn't go into classified. They've got a budget, not just on G.I. Joe, but on specifically for classified as a subset of the brand. So that's something that does have to take into consideration. I think this is a great, you couldn't even call it a workaround. They had to develop this. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. It's impressive work. I can't wait to get this figure in hand. Cannot wait. And again, it's great seeing all of the masks and the heads kind of being utilized as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I appreciate the fact that they're continuing on with this style of photography so that we have kind of a log of it. I think that I'll be sad if and when it goes away. Oh yeah,
100%. Yeah, I'm glad they kind of send these product sheets out as well to people in press and in retail. So yeah, thank you Hasbro for obviously supplying these images. They are brilliant, and can't wait for this figure in hand, honestly. Right, Pat, PulseCon, are you excited?
Yes, I have enjoyed PulseCon so far. Like I said before, I think they should just continue doing those, even whenever physical in-person conventions are back to normal. I still want them spending the money and time to give me more, because I'm greedy.
I love how that sounded. I want them to spend the money and time to give me more. And Pat, you couldn't be any more correct. That's exactly what they need to do. Really looking forward to it. Like I said in the talk at the beginning, we will be doing a reaction video of all of the reveals. We've kind of veered away from the live aspect because it's just so convoluted with what we how we actually operate. So we might try and do a live one. Obviously, availability is an issue with a lot of the guys on the show. I know it's not easy for you just to jump on these things, Pat. So I appreciate that very much, mate. But yeah, reaction video will happen shortly afterwards. Let's move on then, buddy, into the shout outs. I'm going to let you go first, Pat. And I know you've got an absolutely cracking shout out to do because, yeah, go for it. Take it away.
Well, shout out first of all to Philip. As always, showed me some cool stuff this week. And we're living in a world transformed.
I thought you were going to say living in a
material world.
There we go. Yes.
I kind of was trying to blend the
genius
because it's a world transformed with it's a material world. Yeah.
Genius.
Shout out to Madonna. Yeah, I had no idea that this existed until you showed me a picture of it. And I am a huge fan of chronoform stuff. And I didn't know about it. Yeah, the chronoform watch, the original one, the silver robot one actually was the one that she's pictured in the healthy. She's wearing like a shirt that says healthy.
Yeah.
So if you just Google Madonna healthy, you'll see all kinds of pictures of her. And I think that they may have made a conscious decision to cut it out because sometimes it's like, a picture of Madonna, but other times when it's the full photo, and there are quite a lot of different poses of her with Transformers. So Madonna plus Transformers. It's
amazing. I honestly, like someone posted on Twitter. I was surfing the old Twitter webs, and Joel Carroll, it was on Twitter, posted, "Watch Robo, even Madonna wore one." And there's a couple of pictures, obviously the chronoform image of the actual toy. And then obviously I think maybe even Joel was wearing it there, the chronoform watch. And then Madonna rocking the freaking watch as well, which is just brilliant. Like as soon as I saw that, I'm like, Pat, because I knew obviously you were a massive chronoform fan. You've done, an articulated points video on it, which we'll stick in the link in the description as well if you guys want to check that out. Really fun. That was actually, wasn't it a video where you were revealing some stuff for the first time?
We've talked about chronoform a couple times because the one time I think I was going through the various watches maybe. And then another time I was, showing one that was unreleased that I had never heard of. There are a number of unreleased chronoform things if you look at the TF wiki. Yeah, I used to wear that watch to school all the time, and I was really sad. It was one of my crushing moments as a child during gym class. That watch was stolen from me, so I don't have my childhood one anymore. And maybe it was so Madonna.
Yeah, it was Madonna.
She's a material girl. Yeah, living in a material world, sneaking into my gym locker room and stealing my chronoform.
Like a virgin. I don't know how that works, but yeah. That sucks. I've had a watch stolen in school. I think it was like an Oakley watch. It was quite expensive. Not an Oakley watch. It was I forget what they were called now, but they were really like popular at the time. No, it was like a fancy looking one and it had like it was the Velcro straps with like the pattern. They had really fancy patterns on them, almost like a surfer watch. I'll have to find out which one it was.
Armatron or something.
I think like the UK people will know what I'm talking about. I had that stolen. I was gutted. I would love that watch. Anyway, enough of stolen watches. Any other shout outs this week, buddy, for you?
No, that's it.
Okay, then we'll move on to me then. And as always, big shout out to all the family and to my wonderful wife, Kate. Love you all very much. And it was my mum's birthday on Thursday. So happy birthday, Mum. I hope you had a lovely day. Sorry I couldn't be there. So, that one of the reasons I wanted to fly out this time was to be there for her birthday. Kidney stones. Anyway, the quick update on the kidney. Oh no, I've already done the update on the kidney stones. That's the update. To Brian Sauer for the new awesome Tiger Force fall graphics, which are just amazing. And I always say that, but also in relation to Brian, some assembly required gear kit updates. Now, gear kits are these amazing little box sets that the team at Codename Iowa, Assembly Required, put together with loads of cool stuff in, like print stickers, pictures, all just loads of like cardboard displays, like diorama displays, and even things like 6 and 4 inch compatible 3D printed weapons and accessories. Now, what they're doing for Assembly Required this year is Ninja Force themed, and they are rocking some amazing 6-inch Ninja Force weapon sprues, which are just brilliant, and they look great. And brilliant stuff. Cannot wait to get a gear kit from them for that. And also a 4-inch scale cardstock water tower diorama set for Storm Shadow. Looks incredible. They've even gone as far as having it like rotate, so you can display it open or closed. And it's obviously, we've only seen a preview of it so far. We haven't seen like a full reveal of it, but the preview is outstanding. And obviously when it gets fully printed, it's going to be amazing. So cracking work on that to Brian and the team. Bloody amazing stuff. What do you think of those, Pat?
I think that they're amazing. I remember talking with Brian back maybe at the second Assembly Required about some of the things that he could do. And, I think we talked about stickers or something like that. And this is way beyond that, beyond. He didn't need or use any of my ideas, but he came up with something way more amazing.
I want to know what your ideas are. That'll be on a Patreon exclusive, Pat's ideas that didn't make it to Assembly Required. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it for all our shout outs. In terms of, I will give a couple of shout outs. One to my wife Kate for making this amazing. You can probably just about catch a little view of it on the main screen. I'm going to pick it up and bring it over because it's brilliant. So I was chatting with someone, either on a call, look at this, on a call about a pumpkin robo skull, because I'd done like ages ago for a Halloween special. I did like a title card where I superimposed a pumpkin over the robo skull's face. Look at this. So I was talking about it online. She's even done bat wings for the wing. Look at this. So she says to me, I said to her, like, I'm just talking out loud. It's even got guns in the eyes, light inside. Obviously, that's what's lighting it up at the moment. And you can get in the back. She even cut a little back passage out. This took her less than a day, guys, to build and paint. So again, big shout out to Kate on that. Unreal. I was just chatting, and like I said, a flippant comment, and I saw her ears prick up because she was in front of me on the couch at the time. And then the next day, she comes back from Michael's with a bunch of stuff. The next thing I realized, she's on the floor and she's just been carving stuff up and painting stuff. I'm like, what on earth is going on? And I'll show images because it's incredible. And lo and behold, we had a freaking red pumpkin robo skull at hand.
Do the troops shout like trick or treat for the Baron? Is that the slogan?
That is genius. That is trick or treat for the Baron, you bloody genius. Why didn't we put that as Kate should have put that when she shared it. You're a genius, Pat. You should do this more often. There's an idea that I would have happily taken. Anyway, that is all my shout outs. In terms of, family and what I got in. Have I got anything in, Pat? I don't think I have. What remarkably light week it's been in terms of buying things. I don't think I have. Wow. Okay. There's a surprise. Doesn't happen very often. Have you been getting stuff in?
Not a lot. Some of the Transformers Studio Series stuff. I got slagged whatever he may be called on the actual package, it's still slagged to me. So I got him. I got Wreck-Gar, and at Walmart I found the Sharkticon.
Brilliant. I love those. Studio Series look really nice, actually. And again, like, I've sort of been priced out of Masterpiece. I feel like that's what's happened. I know you still get Masterpiece figures, but I feel like I feel like I was a completist up to not really including that time period around Hound, because I think I'd got most of them up to that point, all of them definitely just before Hound. And then I got Hound, and I haven't even transformed him yet. I need to get on that.
Well, they haven't been making them as fast as they were. So.
No, but those trains look amazing.
Somewhat recent. Yeah, they do.
The trains look amazing, and I'd love to get them, but that's going to be a lot of money for a combining Masterpiece.
Spread it out over time, though.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. They do look gorgeous, and I mean, they're amazing. How could you say no to that?
Right.
Easily when your bank account says it. But yeah, but no, it's good that you're getting stuff still. I can't believe I didn't buy anything this week. I'm definitely forgetting something. I'm sure I am. Oh, I tell you what I did get for Kate. I got her a Prezi, and it was the Galactic Snack in Grogu, which is absolutely adorable. Okay, so all of his little accessories are over there, but this is adorable. Okay, so if you just press his little head.
Wow, who makes this?
It's a Hasbro one. Isn't he? He was using the Force.
Full force.
He's using the full force, and he's got little like a little attachment in his hand where he can hold his little ball and a little bowl of those little squid things that he eats. And am I boring you? And and the little nom-noms that he has, all those little kind of macaroons. Honestly, it's freaking adorable. Look at him, his little soft goods.
Wow, that is really nice.
You're so sweet. Yeah, anyway, so I got that for Kate, and she's been absolutely all over it since we got it. So that's our child now. That's what we're counting. Anyway, that's everything. I think I've covered it. I feel happy I remember that now. So that is pretty much all the shout outs. Of course, we continue to support the LGBTQ plus community, and as always, stand fast with the Asian and Pacific Islander communities in saying stop Asian hate. We do not discriminate against any minority and want the show to be a fun and safe environment for anybody, no matter their background. And also to our patrons, listeners, viewers, massive respect. Loving all of the support so far, all of the comments, keep them coming in. I've been having a great time on the Patreon with our Patreon crew. People are absolutely loving the stuff we're posting in there. Obviously, we're getting some good stuff that we can kind of, sneak out, but we can't kind of necessarily talk about on our news bursts and in these kind of episodes. So the Patreon is like a nice kind of closed off G14 classified state of affairs. But it's very cool. Great topics going on there at the moment. And we're looking to expand with a couple of new episodes, new episode content that we're going to be kind of working on in the next couple of months. So look out for some of those, including one thing for Patreon, but also another thing for everybody else. So we might be looking at adding to our already busy lineup of episodes. I don't know where I find the time, Pat. Where do I find the time to do all this crap, eh?
I have no idea.
Crazy.
And I'm curious what's in there in the Patreon, since I am a jerk and I only support you by being on the show.
You can't pay to be a Patreon. You're a presenter. You get this stuff. You get the stuff for free. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry. There's nothing. You're not missing out on the information. Just the presentation of the information, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'll send you the videos. Don't you worry. Anyway. As if I'd expect you
to where I, have a drink.
As if I expect you.
That's what Patreons get, is this.
As if I expect you to pay for the privilege of being a part of this show. That is amazing, Pat. That's great. So that's it. That brings us to the end of yet another episode of the Full Force Weekly. Pat, what's it called?
It's the Full Force Weekly.
Yes, it is. And like I said, brings us to the end. Massive thank you to my awesome co-host, Pat Notpicard Stewart. See you next time. And as always, after 3, 1, 2, 3. Full Force! Nailed it, I think. Who knows?
Competition time! Thanks to the lovely people at Cubels, we are giving away a full set of these awesome G.I. Joe paperboard figures to one lucky listener/viewer. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning this brilliant prize is comment on this video with a character you would like to see in the G.I. Joe Cubels range. Make sure your comments are on either our YouTube, Facebook or Twitter posts. We will announce the winner on the weekly episode in a week's time on the 16th of October. Get your comments in before the 15th, however, in order to be eligible for the competition. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force!